We are ready to kick off the streaming for the day, and we're going to start off with the semifinals, and it's going to be a great first match. Our first matchup is Mexico and Bolivia. Sebastian Fernandez and Diego Garcia, 16 boys singles. Tims, what are your thoughts on what we can expect to see?
This could easily be a final. We've seen both of these players electric last year. Now Garcia has moved up to the 18s, and so for him, this is a new experience. He's one of the younger players in the division, but he won last year in 14s, and so now we're going to see how he copes with playing people maybe a year or two older than him. We know that the Mexicans have won the team title for the last couple of years, and so again, a reminder that these all count towards this total team championship. So it's important for both of these players to win for their country.
And they have a lot of experience on the court. I mean, not only have they been playing a lot in juniors, but I know I've seen Sebastian Fernandez on the professional tour, and being only 16 or 17 years old, that kind of experience can really add something to an event like this. You're used to playing in front of a big crowd, you're used to the pressure, and you have a little bit more experience playing for the camera too.
Well, we'll see what happens. This is one of my favorite matches for today, so I hope you share the feed with others and let's spread racquetball around the world, because this could be a classic.
And there's so much more racquetball to come. All day we'll be live streaming the semifinals. We'll be doing the singles, then we'll be rolling into the doubles, and then tomorrow we'll be live streaming the finals. So this weekend is not anywhere close to over, but this is a fantastic event. It's the 29th International Junior Racquetball Championships. Jumping into the game. Zero, zero. Garcia from Bolivia is serving.
Well, let's start with a replay court hinder. There are no designated court hinders, but the official has the right to call a court hinder should they see fit. We also have line judges, one to the left, one to the right, so that there are an appeal process in place. One thing we said last night was that there are 2 appeals per game. Actually, there's 3 appeals per game, so I wanted to make sure that we corrected that this morning to clarify any issues there.
Side out, Sebastian Fernandez will serve for Mexico.
I think it's a replay. Big skip from Fernandez. Another side out, 0-0. Both of these players hit it incredibly hard. It's hard to describe it from the perspective of a camera on a screen. If you're here in person, you can hear the impact that they have on that ball with their rackets, and it's truly incredible.
Another skip from Fernandez will be the first point then for Diego Garcia.
And this is what he wanted. This is what he wanted. He's the one, he's the upcomer. He's the one who has to be the underdog in this situation. And getting the first point on the board, gaining a little momentum will be good for his confidence.
Ooh, wicked backhand from Fernandez for the side out.
Fernandez tends to look a little bit lackadaisical in the way he plays sometimes, but it's not because he is, it's just his style. He's a very smooth player, and he hits it very hard and very cleanly. You can see there.
Point for Fernandez.
Garcia wanted to know if he thought his brother, who's coaching him, thought if it skipped or not. Soft touch from Fernandez. 2 serving 1. Laura, one of the things I love about the World Juniors is we get to see the stars of the future. And
Absolutely.
I think both of these players have potential to play professionally.
Yeah, I love watching the next generation These are the people that we're going to be talking about at the Pan American Racquetball Championships coming up in March. They're going to be playing at the World Championships. And so it's nice to see them at an event like this, getting a lot of experience. And we've mentioned there's players that are playing up new divisions. They're switching. And the way that these players mature is also really fun to watch their progression.
Great kill shot from Fernandez down the right side. It was loose from Garcia on that return of serve. 3-shot rally. Just what he wanted. Terrific hitting from Fernandez in the middle of the court. One thing I love about this camera view is watching their footwork, how quickly they move their feet. Looks like timeout from Bolivia. That's early, but it makes sense. 5-1.
You know, that's one of the things, though, about these players. These guys are 16 boys. But Fernandez looks like he's probably at the top of that 16, right? He could be 17 years old. You can see he's physically a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. And what kind of effect do you think that has on players? Does size matter?
This is one of those situations where there's a couple of years between them potentially, because if they come up at 16, they could be 17, they could be 18, they could actually also be 19 depending when they're born. So you have maybe a 2.5-year span between these players. That creates a significant difference, especially in the 12-year-old, 14-year-old, where you see huge differences in their height and their strength, for example. So coming up to a new division can often be tough, and Ireland, for example, elected not to come last year and bring the majority of their players to compete at the top level of that age group rather than the bottom.
Jumping back into the match, Bolivia calling that timeout. Mexico leading 5-1.
Right now, Fernandez is playing really, really well. What a get. And a good shot from Fernandez. He used his defense to stay in the point until he got the opportunity to win it. 7-1. Terrific rally. But look at that. Fernandez, he looks so smooth when he hits that. Yeah. He doesn't go for too much. He just plays the smart shot. Knew Garcia was stuck on the left. Guided it across court to the right.
I like that Fernandez looks like he's, practiced that shot. He's made that shot. He's so comfortable. Like he hits 1,000 of those a day.
Better from Garcia. You saw a little flick of his hands like, oh, come on, I can do this. Let's see if he can get some points. 1 serving 8. Drive serve coming up. Great serve. That's much better. Crisp from Garcia on the forehand side.
That puts game 1 at 2 serving 8.
Wow, so difficult. We've talked about how many players tend to hit the sidewall and bounce the ball back to the middle instead of just playing straight down the line, and there you got a great view of what that should look like. And that was a huge skip from Garcia. I almost feel like he's the one trying to do too much. I'm the one who's the underdog. I've got to do more than I'm comfortable doing.
Yeah, I feel like this would be a good time for Garcia to kind of go back to basics, try to control a little bit of tempo, because it feels like he's lost control. I like that he's taking a timeout right now in order to try to regain some of that.
And players have 2 timeouts. That's his final one. So after this, he's got to stay on the court. It's all or nothing. But why wait till 14-2 to take your second timeout when we're at 10-2? It makes sense. Maybe it's a little too late. Maybe it's not. We'll see. But he needs to change the momentum. There's nothing going for him right now. He's only won about 3 rallies, or 4 rallies. He's got to find a way to just stay in this match, keep Fernandez in the back, because when Fernandez gets into the middle, up front, he can do whatever he wants, and he clearly is in this situation.
Well, we do have lots of racquetball all day today. This is the first of, I would say, 6, 7, 8, or 9 matches that will be live streaming today. You can find those at internationalracquetball.com. You can also find them on Facebook, and we're happy to be live streaming.
And just a reminder that next we will have Mexico-Canada boys 18 singles, Portillo against Webb. Good timeout, side out for Garcia. Let's see if he changes serve. Probably going to stick with the drive serve. So it was Fernandez that cracked first on the ceiling balls and went for it up by the shoulder. Couldn't put it down. Garcia forehand down the line. 3 serving 10.
Yeah, this is good for Garcia. He takes that timeout, regains some control, and gets a point. Well, that's a good serve for him. He gets the serve return kill. It's exactly what he wants right now.
Right.
And again, it's got to make him feel like he's gaining a little bit of control.
Well, that's 3 rallies won after the timeout. He's very close to a foot fault, you can see from that camera angle. Reminder on that foot fault, the whole foot has to go over that line for it to be called. You are allowed to stand on it. Beautiful from Fernandez.
Cuts that one off.
Replay decision. Garcia a little bit infringed by Fernandez on the right. Terrific forehand pinch winner from Garcia. He's starting to find his range. 4 serving 10. One of the interesting things about the rules is if you have a first serve short, you take a second serve, and then there's a replay. You then go back to a first serve.
Oh, that's a nice.
So one of the ideas that can be discussed is, well, if we're replaying it, why aren't we replaying with a second serve instead of a first serve?
That's a good question, though, because it makes it a little bit more offensive then for that server.
Right. It gives the advantage to the server because they get another chance for a good first serve. So these things are always brought up at each of these tournaments. We have a rules committee who can make changes. Some of those changes, for example, occurred last year where we switched from 5 minutes in between games 2 and the tiebreaker to 2 minutes. You know, why do we need 5 minutes? We're trying to make this more entertaining for fans and the audience at home. Let's make it 2 minutes and keep things on schedule. And examples like that, reducing the number of timeouts to 2, reducing the number of appeals from 5 to 3 per game has really improved the speed of these matches.
Yeah, it keeps things moving along, keeps the intensity high.
Garcia, applause from the crowd behind him. Everybody's starting to filter in this morning.
Yeah, we're in downtown Minneapolis at the Lifetime Fitness at the Target Center. And there's been a lot of competition here all week, and so as things start to kind of move along through the draw, right, people are adjusting their schedules and just getting started here in Minneapolis today.
Another point for Garcia. So again, the value of that timeout, he was down 10-2. He's gained 3 points to the Mexican 0. Starting to find his rhythm, settle down. Our head official is John Halco from Canada. Reverse pinch from Fernandez. He is accompanied by Gustavo Farrell from Uruguay and Dean Shear from the United States. We appreciate all they do for the International Racquetball Federation, keeping things on track.
That's right. There's 14 referees here this weekend. And 12 countries are participating in the event this week, representing from 5 different continents. So a nice turnout. There were over how many competitors this week?
200.
200.
And we really appreciate countries like Ireland and Korea who have traveled pretty much across the world to get here. And they've brought large contingents of players, and so it's been real neat to see the Irish green everywhere, and of course the blue and white of the Korean jackets everywhere, and they've had so much fun, and it's been neat seeing them intermingle with other countries, playing basketball and pickleball,
making new friends,
table tennis. And we always talk about how competitive it is on the court, but off the court, a lot of these players are friends because they see each other every year here.
Hey, and they're still kids too, you know, they got to have some fun to make some friends. Ooh.
You can't do it better.
Man, that backhand from Fernandez, I'd be sticking away from that if I was Garcia.
He's hitting it very cleanly this morning. Good timeout for Mexico. Gains a point, 11-5. And Garcia responds with another terrific kill shot. 5-11. We don't have many rallies in this match, and it's because both players are playing so well right now. That time a skip from Fernandez, 6-11. It's starting to get closer. It was 10-2. Chipping away 1 point at a time is the Bolivian.
Yeah, a lot of times players kind of have to feel each other out in the beginning of this game one. So I like to see Garcia starting to make his way back. 6-11.
Cross-court pass from Fernandez gives him the side out. He's 4 points away from game one. What a get, Fernandez. Not that time. It was great defense. Fernandez got a little mixed up on the serve, went left, but then dove right to keep it alive. Ultimately, Garcia, though, 7-11, 4 points behind his opponent.
Second serve for Garcia.
Wow. Wow.
That backhand is just on today.
Yeah, it really is. He's playing extremely well on that side. He's missed a couple, but he seems very comfortable hitting that shot in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Screen serve called.
Just think Fernandez has really started to develop into more of a physical player. Like last year, I feel like we saw him lose a little bit of weight, and this year he looks like he's gained some muscle. He's just starting to develop into more of like an athletic body type.
Yeah, I agree. Last year he competed here at the World Championships, and you know, it didn't really look like he'd been training that hard. I mean, he was definitely the favorite, or one of the favorites in his group. But this year it seems like he's really come prepared and is hitting shots that are just world class right now. And you can see that, as you said, the professional experience, the playing people day in, day out who are world class has added to his game. And I think it's a struggle sometimes for Bolivia just because of their geographic location. They can't travel to a lot of the major tournaments and play these kind of players on a regular basis. And to some extent that may affect their ability in an environment like this.
And I know Fernandez, one of his training partners, is Miguel Rodriguez, and they also train with Alvaro Beltran, who is familiar with playing on the Team Mexico and definitely familiar with playing in the professional side as well. So I'm sure some of that experience helps. Big skip from Fernandez, though. Point for Garcia, 8-12.
And to give you an idea of Fernandez's ability, he defeated Samuel Murray from Canada just a couple of months ago, who is a bronze medalist at the World Championships from last year. So it shows you the raw potential that these juniors have.
Good rally. Oh, looking for a screen.
It'll be a replay, and Mexico are going to appeal this decision. So the line judges agree with our official. Again, that's why we have line judges, to help make these decisions. That way it's not just one person's opinion.
You got more eyeballs out there that count, right? Not just ours.
Garcia sticking with the backhand on that lob serve. Lots of defense right now. Replay. Garcia was slightly hindered. No argument from Fernandez. Laura, what you saw there, though, was some excellent ceiling balls. And it's something that a lot of players don't practice very much. And so when we come to juniors, we kind of see some sloppy ceiling balls and just some careless ones, because everybody wants to practice that kill shot, that pinch, and you know, the dramatic shots, rather than the shots that are kind of boring but are actually very, very effective. And what you saw there was a couple players hitting very, very good ceiling balls.
Yeah, and they're only boring because we think, oh, you're going to the ceiling. But the strategy behind a ceiling ball, as we've discussed, can be so important too. That they can be very effective. Just like a lob serve. You know, when I first came into the sport, I thought, well, everybody should be drive serving because it looks so great. But lobs can be really effective and preserve some of your energy for the rallies.
And we've seen some aces from lob serves.
Oh, yeah.
On this stream this week.
So something good to practice. You can see the appeals there in the back of the court. All the way to the left and the right are those line judges that we've been talking about.
So we had one agree and one disagree, which means that the call stands. Here we're going to get a replay because the call was not, the score was not called. So Garcia's grateful for that.
Fernandez
and you can see why. He got a second opportunity and a ripping splat shot to the front wall. 8-12. It's a lot closer than it was at 10-2, Laura. Change of serve.
Yeah, switching it up. You can see him look back there to the coaching staff on the left side of the screen. And neither player out there gives much expression, right? We don't hear them calling out very much. We don't see a lot of facial expression. And I've come to kind of expect that from some of the Bolivian players. And I don't know if it's that they play so serious, but they're composed, they're focused, and they kind of just stick to what their game is.
I think it depends on their personality. We do see some Bolivians who are very animated But you're right. Some countries tend to be a little more vocal than others. Costa Rica, for example, generally are quite noisy and boisterous while they play, and we'll see a couple of those playing later probably in our stream. And again, it makes for some entertainment. At the same time, it can also be a negative thing if you're upset at yourself and screaming at yourself rather than having hit a good shot. And so these two in particular seem to be very calm and focused on what they're trying to do. But there you saw a little expression from Fernandez, not happy with himself as Garcia goes cross court.
I think he's getting a little frustrated with himself. Like, he had that big lead at 10-2, and Garcia has just kind of been chipping away at him, so he wants to score some points.
Garcia had an opportunity, didn't put it down.
Something. Oh, what a get. Another effort from Fernandez. What a great rally. Really turning up the intensity out here. Fernandez wanting that side out. Garcia now 9-12. And a skip from Fernandez. Garcia getting that drive serve in. Like to see him staying aggressive. See if he sticks with that drive. Look like it's going to line up for it. Second serve for Garcia. Oh, and a double fault. You don't see that too often, and it's unfortunate. I feel like that could take away from some of the momentum that Garcia found. I mean, they had a really competitive rally. He got that drive serve in and scored, and then double faults. Second serve. Point for Fernandez, 13-10.
A great Z serve. Oh, wow.
Fernandez on the defensive, and not only is that a great get, but he kills it. I mean, you could get the ball, but it's where you place it, right? And that was beautiful.
And that was terrific shooting. Garcia really didn't do too much wrong in that situation. It was just the pure athleticism of Fernandez to get there. Like you said, he did something positive with it when he got there. Oh. Great response from Garcia.
Interesting that Fernandez chose to switch up the serve at that point on game point.
Sometimes players do that on game point. They think they need to try something different, and really, whatever's been working, stick with it. It can be cute trying to switch it up and try and be clever, but as you saw, he had a game point, he lost it, and now it's 11-14.
It's a good serve. Puts him at 12.
And I'd like to see Mexico take a timeout here it's been 3 rallies, right? Side out and then 2 points.
And look at that. There's the timeout on the court. Tim, you should do this professionally. Timeout for Mexico. Garcia will come back serving 12-14. We can see another Mexican player down on the court. She'll be coming up in one of the next matches.
Montse Mejia. I believe she's playing Gabriela Martinez from Guatemala.
No, I believe she's playing
She's on the other side
Bolivia.
of the draw. That's right, Barrios, excuse
yes,
me.
She'll be playing Barrios.
And Barrios defeated Holly Scott from the U.S. yesterday in a tiebreaker, which we live streamed. And
yes.
you can go back and watch that through yesterday's feed. It's been really exciting all week to see so many great. We're watching the cleaning of the glasses by the juniors.
Yeah. The juniors. Those young world champions cleaning the glasses for their teammate.
Well, they're hoping
nice.
Garcia can close back. Remember, he was down 10-2 when he took his second timeout.
And you mentioned, Tim, this is a match that we would expect to see somewhere in the finals. So it's a nice treat to have this for the semifinal.
Yeah. Miranda is the older of the Bolivians, and he's in the other side of the draw as the number 2 seed. So that's why you see Garcia not being one of the top 2 seeds.
Another ceiling ball rally. Fernandez first to shoot and kills it. This is going to put him at game point number 2.
I like this from Garcia, slowing down, getting himself ready.
Fernandez going with that Z serve that worked for him last time.
Oh, my goodness. What a confident shot. He didn't have much room off the back wall. It wasn't a bad serve, and he just ripped it into the corner. 2 game points saved. We've got quite a match here now.
Yes. 12 serving 14. Oh.
That'll be a replay. That's unfortunate for Fernandez. I don't think Garcia did that with any intention. And Fernandez fell down, and it would have been probably a setup off the back wall. So Garcia got away with one a little bit there.
Second serve for Garcia.
Great get,
Nice.
Garcia, and good defense. Oh!
So that could be an example of a ceiling ball that was not placed very well. Fernandez totally sets up Garcia, and he pays for it right there.
Credit Garcia, who played defense, put it back up to the ceiling, and it was a good ceiling ball.
Yes.
So he earned that opportunity from great defense.
13-14. Second serve for Bolivia.
We hope you're enjoying watching this. We certainly are here. This is a terrific match, 13-14.
Oh, nice.
Flat from Fernandez, running backwards. Game point number 3. You feel like he has to take this one. Garcia is just closing point by point. And an ace serve to finish it. Goes cross court, takes the first game, 15-13.
Very nice from both players, giving us quite a show for our first semifinal of the day. We'll be back with game 2 in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. We're back at the 29th International Racquetball Federation Junior World Championship. We started out with a fantastic semifinal. What a competitive game 1 from Fernandez and Garcia. Tim, what are your thoughts on that match so far?
Well, you felt that Garcia maybe was a little nervous for this semifinal. It's a big moment for him. He was down 10-2, took his second timeout, and then began to claw it back 1 point by 1 point. Ultimately, you know, Fernandez has to be happy with taking game 1, but now the responsibility is on Garcia. He knows he has to win game 2. Can he do it, or will Fernandez gain that confidence and really claw away in game number 2 to take this 2 straight?
Here we go. Fernandez will start serving. 0-0.
Change up on the serve. Garcia. Perfect. So sometimes what can happen with a player is that they play really well and they get really close in game 1, and then that 2-minute break just affects them and they come out a little bit flat rather than maintaining that momentum of I'm in this, I'm capable of doing this, and then you see a 15-13 score and a 15-5 or something like that.
Right.
Both of these players, though, are very experienced. They've been on the big scene for a long time. I don't think we're going to see that same kind of swing in game 2. It should stay pretty close. A little lucky there from Garcia. It hit the glass. It's very hard to see through that glass. The green Pro Pen ball. Handled it well.
0-0.
Flat from Fernandez. Wasn't a good ceiling ball. Came off. Fernandez had every attacking option available there. Good serve.
Nice get.
Wow.
Oh.
And then a reverse pinch from Garcia. Kept his cool. Fernandez, 2 terrific athletic gets. But Garcia, you know, oh my gosh, this guy, just give me the point. Stayed calm, hit the right shot, ultimately gets himself still at 0-0.
Really competitive start to game 2 so far. I mean, both these guys have served 2 or 3 times apiece, and it's still 0-0.
Wow. Great angle. Fernandez takes the first point, 1-0. So if I'm looking at these two players, I would say that the only slight difference between them, both hit it really hard, both have terrific technique. Fernandez just seems a little bit more athletic. You see him flying around the court, diving. Not so much Garcia, tends to stay on his feet and then stretches for the ball rather than flying for it like Fernandez does. You see all that footwork. It's terrific from Garcia. Tried to guide it into the left side. Almost. Side out, 1-0. Like we're staying with that Z serve. Another good one.
Little off speed from Fernandez. Garcia picks it up. 2 bounces. Looks like Garcia is appealing, and they're like they're gonna replay that. That's an opportunity lost for Fernandez. Oh, skips it. Point for Fernandez, 2-0.
Just a reminder, you can check our draws, results, schedule on our website, internationalracquetball.com. Click on events, live events, and you'll see a link to all the draws there. Divisions starting at 10, going up through 18. We've even seen 2 8-year-olds here battling on the court, diving around. It's just been so much fun to watch the enthusiasm of these players all week.
And I love watching the next generation. Oh, nice get. The next generation of players here at an event like this. There were 200 participants at the Junior Worlds. First point for Garcia. 1 serving 2.
Just awesome to see a 16, 17-year-old just hitting so clean, so crisp. Also so hard. If you are in the area, you should come down and witness this because it's truly incredible technique, power, athleticism from these young athletes.
Yeah, we love providing this live streaming to our fans around the world, but if you are in the area, there's nothing like seeing it live and in person.
Lifetime Fitness, Minneapolis, Minnesota. There's that example of athleticism. Fernandez, I felt, would have dove for that and got something on it. Garcia lunged at it, got his racket on it, not able to do enough.
Oh, so clean down that line. 3-2 now for Fernandez.
This is a better start from Garcia, though, from game 1.
Yes.
Very competitive start to this second game. Great get. Fernandez. Oh, terrific anticipation from Garcia. Stays in the point.
Ball's high.
Long rally. Oh, Fernandez almost makes it. Really good defense from Garcia to stay in that point, keep fighting, get back to the center of the court. Finally, he takes his chance. Side out, 2 serving 3.
There was a lot of patience, I think, from both players in that. A couple missed opportunities too, but I like that maturity that they're showing in that patience.
Well, generally, when we witness a great rally, it means that players are making mistakes. A mistake there from the backhand of Fernandez ties it up at 3-3. Oh my goodness.
So
Lunging
nice.
flat winner from the forehand of Fernandez.
Talk about footwork and reach. The good combination there from the Mexican.
And you talked about the fact that Fernandez trains with Alvaro Beltran, who's actually a doubles gold medalist last year at the World Championships with Javier Moreno. And you can see some of his style, especially in the backcourt with his touch. Lots of splats and pinches. Great get. But Garcia stays cool and puts it down. It's been really close in game number 2. 3 serving 4. Let's see if Garcia can tie it up and gain a lead. He really needs a lead here. He knows he has to win game 2. There's the tie. Let's see if he can get ahead. He was down 2-0 at the start of the second game.
Second serve for Garcia. Sticking with that backhand to Fernandez's backhand.
And the ball broke. You could hear it. It sounded different. That'll be a replay. Garcia wishes it wasn't because he was in the center court. But he'll get another opportunity. Really, really high quality match, Laura. You know, we're not seeing 15 shots per rally because both players are playing so clean and so efficiently.
This is what I like to see as we start to progress through the event. We're in the semifinals now. We'll be live streaming all day, and tomorrow we'll have the finals. So the quality just keeps going up and up and up.
So we hope you stick with us as we progress throughout the day, continue sharing this feed. Make sure we get as many people watching as possible. Another point for Garcia. He takes the lead. I just mentioned that. He was down 3-4. Excuse me, no, it's a side out. 4-4 still. Screen serve called. Screen serve occurs when the ball passes too close to the player and it inhibits their view. If it happens on a second serve, it's a side out. Garcia just can't get the lead. He gets close, he ties it up. Side out Fernandez. Changes his serve. And a side out.
These guys are stuck at 4-4, so competitive.
You heard the sound of that ball as it ripped into the side front wall for a side out for Garcia. Skip called. It was close, but it was the correct call. Mexico are going to take a timeout. One of the things you'll notice on the front wall is that Olympic Channel logo. And the International Racquetball Federation is recognized by the IOC, the Olympic Committee, International Olympic Committee, and what that means is it's a recognized sport as potentially part of the Olympics. And as part of that, we have an agreement with the Olympic Channel that we can show these matches or highlights of these matches on the Olympic Channel, and that's something that we are working to provide the Olympic Channel with highlights of these matches and interviews and so on to provide some exposure of racquetball to 2 million plus followers on Facebook, and we're really excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to get more people involved, hopefully help us campaign. You know, everyone always asks, how come racquetball's not in the Olympics? But also just increase our visibility. And so the IRF has partnered with Sport Online Productions, and we'll also be putting some of the WRT events potentially on there as Sport Online Productions manages the World Racquetball Tour.
And we'll be providing a press release about all of that information in a couple of days. A scrappy rally, but you saw Garcia turn his body well, follow the ball across the back court, rip it cross court. 5 serving 4.
Tough game 2. Totally different start than we saw in game 1, that's for sure.
And there's a little expression from Fernandez. He's starting to get a little frustrated. Garcia didn't give up at the start of game 2, fought hard. Now he's starting to pull away a little in game 2, 6 serving 4.
Just very little. So tight. Oh, what a return.
Yeah, I almost thought that Fernandez was going to ask for a screen serve.
Yeah.
But, look, here we go. Garcia is appealing a screen serve.
Oh,
wow.
The judges are split. You can see them there on either side of the court.
I thought it was a screen serve. So there's an example of a player who is serving and is appealing a mistake that they made. The idea behind that is to get a second serve because they lost the rally. And so sometimes you'll see that they'll appeal their own short serve because it wasn't called short and they lost the rally.
It is funny how you can strategize, though, and use that to your advantage, right?
Great hands from Fernandez.
Just like that, he ties it up at 6-6 now. Love to see these momentum shifts. We saw a lot of that yesterday, and I'm interested to see what kind of pattern starts to emerge today in the semifinals.
Short serve called. Mexican coach encourages him to appeal, and this time we have the opposite decision. Our line judge over to our left, where we're watching here, disagrees, and the other one agrees.
Gets a racket on it.
Wow. So suddenly 8-6. 7-6, excuse me. Our scoreboard up on the top left of the court got a little too enthusiastic for Fernandez.
They put it back at 8. It is 8-6. You're right.
He said 7.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
we move on.
I missed that point. Either way, Fernandez has now scored 4 points in a row. He was just down 4-6.
I think one more, and Bolivia takes a timeout. Garcia to the ceiling. Skip ball from Fernandez. Look at his body language. It's changed from game one, where he was perky and moving around, looking very upright. Here we see him slumping a little bit, looking down. He needs to remember where he is. He's up a game. He's leading. Focus on the next point. Great cross-court pass. Didn't go for too much. Garcia was probably looking for the pinch. Caught too far forward.
Serving 8 in game 2. Garcia down 1 game. Fernandez winning game 1, 15-13.
Well, you mentioned in game 1 how good the backhand of Fernandez was, and I think what we've seen today is how comfortable he is hitting that backhand. He seems to hit it from any position and be able to hit whatever he wants. And so for Garcia, I wonder whether going a little bit more to his forehand might work. On cue, goes to his forehand. Fernandez skips it.
Looks like it could work. 6-8. Let's see if he keeps that up now when he can score. Serves to the backhand. Oh, wow.
Just dies in the glass. Great defense from Fernandez.
8 serving 6. This pickup from Garcia sticks with it. Pinches it for a side out.
Well, Fernandez has joy when he hits straight lines. We've seen that particularly down the backhand. When he goes down that glass, he's won a lot of points. But he likes the pinch. And so that's sometimes you want to hit your favorite shot rather than the shot which is the highest percentage.
Oh, and a big skip. Looks like he was going for that favorite shot, a pinch again. 7 serving 8.
Went cross court. Garcia was there, just not fast enough to get a racket on it. 8-7. Such a close second game, back and forth.
Nine, 7 now for Fernandez. Timeout called by Diego Garcia.
It's a good timeout. You could feel the momentum shifting. Garcia had an 8-6 lead. Now it's Fernandez up 9-7. Let's take a look at this replay. Great defense from Garcia to get it up to the ceiling. Fernandez waits for it to come down and goes cross court. Here's another one. Garcia serving, Z serve.
What a reach from Fernandez. That whole side of the court just open, and then he gets it in what, 2-3 steps? That was very athletic.
And you can see he's a little taller than his opponent. And so he has a longer reach, longer arms, longer legs, and so he doesn't have to take as many steps to get over.
That's right.
We'll see over the next couple years whether Garcia grows a little bit more. And we've talked about the growth spurts and the changes between, 14-year-olds, for example, being very different in size and strength.
Right.
This time Fernandez skips it. Good timeout, Bolivia.
Exactly. I think there's so much power in breaking that bit of momentum by calling a timeout on both sides. Nice.
Much better. Stayed down the line, caught Garcia on the right side. All he had to do was hit it left.
Skips it, and a point for Fernandez. 10-7. Sticks with the Z.
Great serve. Garcia really needed that. Down 3 points, 5 points away from the second game, but he needs to find a serve against Fernandez that gives him some setups, some opportunities to keep these points short. And that's not it. Look at that.
Yeah,
from
some
Fernandez.
Interesting choices from both players in these last two rallies. See if they can shake that off. It's still 10-7.
Z serve. It's really good again. Wow. Above the shoulder. Garcia down 11-7. I like this from Garcia, slowing it down, composing himself, waiting until he's ready. Fernandez hit it back to the middle, right to the forehand of Garcia. Garcia put it down. 7-11, still fighting. Down by 4. There was no call, but credit Fernandez calling the 2 bounces on himself. That's nice to see. Fair play from him. Appreciated by our officials. You can see our head official, John Halco, standing up behind Fernandez from Canada. We appreciate all their work this week. Perfect wide angle. Wide angle hits the sidewall, cuts back to the middle of the court, 2 bounces before the back wall.
Oh,
and that's perfect. Straight down the line. We talked about the value of being able to hit straight down the line without hitting that sidewall and cutting back to the middle. 12 serving 4. So the difference here, I feel, is just Garcia hasn't really found that serve that really works against Fernandez. Fernandez is hitting that drive Z consistently. Garcia's having to play defense from it. Garcia seems to be mixing things up. That time, though, a big skip from Fernandez. You know, the idea of the serve is to gain an advantage in the point. Fernandez is doing that with a good Z serve. Garcia's having to hit the ball off the back wall or go to the ceiling. Not the case with Fernandez. What a beautiful
Soft
touch.
and off speed. I love when they mix it up like that, really. Especially since we've been talking about the power and accuracy between these two players. When you slow it down, it's nice.
Another great Z serve. He's dialed that in. Went for the pinch. Maybe down the line was the better option. 9-12. $16 boys singles semifinal. Side out Fernandez.
Coming up after this, we'll have another boys singles match, the 18 and under. Portillo and Webb. It'll be Mexico and Canada.
And again, you're going to see two tremendous players. Webb has been coming here for many years, as is Portillo. Both of them are very, very talented. And what I love about both of them is their ability to hit hard and soft. You'll see some control shots and you'll see some power shots. And a lot of these juniors lack that ability. They tend to hit it hard, and if it's not working, then I need to hit it harder rather than with a little bit more control and touch. And so you'll see some really nice, clever play between those two players. It's going to be a great match.
Oh, what a get.
Oh, my goodness. And again. Great defense from Garcia. Fernandez. And puts it down.
Oh, buries it. We can take a quick look at that. Some great gets from both players. Diving Fernandez.
Garcia goes back across, trying to turn him around. He's still able to get there. Has another chance right in the middle. Goes cross court, but again, Fernandez able to dig it up, eventually getting his opportunity to put it away.
We have a timeout on the court, and this rally was so good we had to stretch out those replays into 2 segments. Same rally, these guys just giving it their all in the semis. Look at that reach. You talked about Garcia's reach. He doesn't really dive.
No. And I think that's slightly the difference there, because Fernandez is just a little bit longer, able to get down a little bit faster than Garcia. Garcia keeps the ball very close to him, and we'll see if he's able to change that dynamic. But one thing I really, really love about Garcia, which kind of indicates his potential to be great. No, of course, Fernandez is winning this, but he is the older and the favorite in this match. Garcia's footwork is incredible. He moves his feet so fast, keeps them very close to his body, and as a result, he's made this such a competitive match. And it's not over. 13-9, timeout Bolivia. Let's see if it helped.
Second serve for Fernandez.
Two timeouts from Bolivia and 2 side outs.
Breaks things up a little bit. Timeout can be so useful.
And I would say
against your opponent and for your own strategy.
Yeah, statistically, I'm saying about 3 out of 4 times if you take a timeout, you win that rally. So if you have timeouts, you should be using them. The odds are in your favor. No way. He got that. But not the second time. So important to keep your cool after somebody does something like that.
Right. And
continue to hit the right shot rather than worrying about the fact your opponent is so athletic.
That puts us at 10-13 in game 2. Bolivia serving.
Oh my goodness.
That backhand that has just been so smooth for Fernandez all match.
It looks very casual, didn't it?
Yeah, maybe too much.
Down the line was open. He wanted his favorite pinch. We've talked about that. 11-13. Fernandez.
Two skips on that backhand in a row.
Timeout Mexico? No.
Nope. 12 serving 13.
High lob to the forehand. And that was loose from Garcia. It was high, came off the back wall. Fernandez pinned him on the glass, put it down the other side. It's difficult to do sometimes because you know all you have to do is hit that side, and you're thinking about that. I've got my opponent pinned. I just need to finish this point, rather than just focusing on hitting the quality shot you know you can hit.
Just that game of keep away. Keep that ball away from your opponent. Oh, what a pickup. Fernandez so fast.
Again.
Sket.
Three backhand skips in the last 4 rallies, I think.
Yeah,
12,
I feel like
13.
I feel like that's such a mental breakdown then for Fernandez, because we know he has the capability to hit that backhand. He's been doing it all match. He must hit, 100 a day.
Look how he's returning that serve. He's standing there pushing it to the ceiling with his forehand. Seems that Garcia's found something that Fernandez isn't necessarily comfortable hitting. We've tied it up 13-13. Still no timeout from Mexico. I'd like to take a timeout here and just discuss how to return this serve. Great pickup. And wow, another skip, Laura. Dang. I can't believe it.
And still no timeout. He still looks like he has 1 timeout left.
Game point Bolivia. I can't believe it. There was an appeal on whether Garcia got that ball. It looked like he did. One line judge agreed with our official, so the call stands. High lob to the forehand. And a skip on the forehand. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. We're going to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, Fernandez buckling a little bit under the pressure there. And Garcia just staying really cool out there, sticking to his game, and pulls off the win 15-13. This is like an exact flip-flop from both these players. We'll take a look back at one of the replays from a couple points ago.
Look at how he gets his racket up, drives through the ball. Terrific pickup from Fernandez, but again, stays cool. Look at that little fist pump. A little bit of emotion from Garcia.
Well, Garcia pulls out the win, and we'll be going to a tiebreaker. Remember, in our tiebreaker, it's 1st to 11, win by 1.
What a get from Fernandez. Flung his body across the court, forcing Garcia to the ceiling.
Oh, and what we didn't capture there was that backhand skip from Fernandez. Let's see if he can tighten things up when we return in game 3, or is Garcia gonna pull out the win? We're back at the 2017 Junior World Championship, and it's been quite an experience here in downtown Minneapolis, which is definitely one of my favorite places to be. One of the best things about this event is that players are not actually, being bussed across from events. You have enough time to scoot over to your hotel, which is just a couple blocks away. Thank you to the Hampton Inn and Suites and also Embassy Suites in downtown Minneapolis. Also like to take a quick moment to thank the sponsors of this event for making the Junior World Championship possible, including Penn, the official ball of the IRF, eForce, you want to win or what? FixMyRacket.com, Rollout Racquetball, who did the event t-shirts, and of course the Reaching Your Dream Foundation. So getting into game 3, we had identical scores. Fernandez winning game 1, 15-13. Garcia coming back to win game 2, 15-13. And now it's first to 11 in the breaker. Looks like Garcia will start off serving.
Yeah, so in that situation, because they're even scores, 28 points each, you decide who serves first with a coin toss.
Ooh, and a first point for Garcia.
And we saw a little fist pump from him. First to 11. Laura, if we go back to game 2, we've talked about this week, and you know, the last points of a game, the last points of a match are always the hardest. And you could see that on Fernandez. It had nothing to do with his ability to hit the ball. It had more to do with his mental focus and his mental game and his mental toughness, overcoming maybe a little anxiety. And we find a lot of these players can hit a ball beautifully, but it's because they train it so much. How often do they train their mind so that they can hit it beautifully when it really matters? And we saw Fernandez just kind of collapse, made several unforced errors on his backhand, and then to finish on his forehand with that lob serve that he couldn't handle. Meanwhile, we have 0 serving 2. Great defense. Garcia pushing Fernandez all over the court. What a get. And what a great point that was. Terrific defense from the Mexican, but ultimately the Bolivian controlling that point and punishing it.
It's like he's still taking control from game 2 and really trying to capitalize on Fernandez's mental state right now in game 3.
Well, the longer this match has gone on, the more confident Garcia has become.
Yes.
Remember, he was down 10-2 in game 1 and just seemed lost. And you can see Fernandez is just a little confused, a little just frustrated. He doesn't know what to do. Now we're at 3-0 in favor of the Bolivian. I talked about trying to find a serve. Beautiful that time from Fernandez. Garcia seems to have found that serve, and it's to Fernandez's forehand rather than backhand. Going to the lob serve.
Oh, beautiful.
Stayed away from the pinch this time. Gets on the board 1-3. First to 11, win by 1.
Second serve for Fernandez.
Another down the line. He's staying away from that pinch, and it's starting to work for him. Semi-final. Both of these players will get a medal, but where they stand on the podium is down to these final few points. Beautiful from Garcia. So one of the things that players tend to do is they hit a good serve, but if they lose the point, they then change the serve because they don't think about the quality of their serve. They just say, well, I lost the point, therefore that was a bad serve. And what we saw at the end of that game was Fernandez was hitting really good Z serves, forcing Garcia to hit off the back wall, but then was making mistakes. In this tiebreaker, he's gone away from those Z serves, and now he's trying other serves. Soft touch from Garcia, 5 serving 2. So again, it's the value of a coach to be able to say, hey, this is a good serve. Just make sure you execute when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, and you see so many players, I mean, they do seem to constantly look back at their coach to find out which serve it is, too. And so, a tough rally. Oh, Garcia there to pick it up.
Oh, there you go. What a great get from Garcia. Not that time, though. First time we've seen hit the floor in this entire match.
Yeah, he's got such a good reach. 2 serving 5 in game 3.
Another chance. This time he gets one. Garcia thought he might have skipped it, and it was just the sound of the ball. It hit the glass before it hit the front wall. 3 serving 5.
Yeah, down the line, that's my shot.
Yeah, and I think if he sticks with that, the outcome's going to be different. He was trying to hit a lot of pinches in game 2. They were staying up a little bit more than they were in game 1. He sticks with the line. Garcia struggles a little more. Great defense from both players.
Oh, there's
Fernandez, the first
I thought
to
it was
crack.
Good. No, that's another skip from that backhand.
And yet it was perfect in game 1.
And for most of game 2.
Mm-hmm. A great match we have, the first of the day on this stream. We hope you appreciate it and continue to share it.
All right, if I'm Fernandez's coach, he's got to do something to change up that backhand.
Well, I would start with a timeout, but again, he had one available at the end of game 2 and didn't take it. There should be a court hinder. No argument. Garcia was right there, and you could see it bounce oddly. The glass on the left is indented slightly into the wall, and so if it hits that corner, it bounces unusually. So
yeah,
replay called.
Court hinder at the discretion of the referee.
Another backhand error from Fernandez. Tried to push it to the front wall. 7-4. What a change of events. He was up in game 2. It looked like he was going to be there, cruising, but Garcia held strong, stayed mentally tough, found a way to take game 2, and then we've seen 3 backhand errors from Fernandez. Finally, he takes his first timeout of this tiebreaker.
Yeah, and one thing to remember is you do get 2 timeouts in the tiebreaker, and it being a shorter game, you do have to change your strategy a little bit on when you use it. Going back to one of the rallies earlier in the match. Sorry, in game 3.
Yeah, when we talk about point swings and timeouts, especially in a tiebreaker, I wouldn't want my opponent winning 3 or 4 points in a row before I take that timeout. I don't want them to get a big lead. Take the timeout when it's still close. A lot of players tend to keep their timeout until match point or game point. But if game point, you've lost 6 points before you take your timeout, that's not very smart. Use the timeout when you need it to change the momentum. And we see that in other sports, basketball, football, where we take timeouts when one team seems to have the momentum and the movement. And the idea is using time. Time is the only thing that can really change that momentum, causing people to get calmer or slow down or that kind of thing. Maybe even pump up somebody up.
All right, got that backhand under control again, Fernandez. Look at what a timeout can do. And I think, it's also crucial to point out that, when you're in a shorter game to 11, it's totally different using those timeouts.
And it was a loose serve.
I feel like he fired that serve off pretty quick, too. Like he's trying to speed things along and get that momentum on his side. Doesn't work. Good side out for Fernandez.
Cracks out on the right. He got a little lucky, but he'll take it. That's a point, 5-8. Sticking with the lob serves. It's so interesting, Laura, that both of these players are hitting lob serves when they can hit so hard. And it's something you said earlier in that you can get value from a lob serve if it's very good.
Yeah, I like to see that sort of switch up. And I think, you know, lob serve doesn't look aggressive, but it can be so strategic. It's getting Fernandez the setups that he's looking for, and look at him closing that gap. It's 7-8 now.
And I'd like to see a timeout. And indeed,
you're going to get it, Tim.
It's a good timeout. Fernandez seems to have gone on a run since his timeout, right? He's won 3 points, and so Bolivia has 2. And, oh, let's just stop here. I'm still in the lead. Let's focus on a side out. A lot of the younger players especially have this idea that I only take the timeout when I get in the service box. And that's a mistake. How many points are you going to lose before you get in the service box to take your timeout? No, take the timeout when you need it. If you need to get a side out, go for it.
I think it's that good strategy that you're talking about. Don't let them get more than 3 or 4 points. Taking a look back at a replay. Nice between the legs from Fernandez.
Again, look at how Garcia drives through the ball, doesn't lean back, stays focused, pushing forward as he hits it, keeping himself balanced.
Now, traditionally in this match, when Garcia calls the timeout, he gets the side out too. Let's see if that holds true now. All right, he's not able to break Fernandez's mental focus with that timeout. And Sebastian Fernandez ties it up 8-8.
So now we got a game to 3 to decide who goes in the final.
Ooh.
Incredible. What a way to start today. Fernandez from Mexico, Garcia from Bolivia, 8-8 tiebreaker. Ooh, wow. Flat rollout from Fernandez. You can hear the crowd. They're into this now. Oh my goodness. The ball came off the back wall. Garcia rips it into the corner. Such confidence for a young man.
Tied up 8-8. We've got the attention of the Lifetime Fitness in Minneapolis now.
Such high quality from both players throughout this match. Garcia switched to a drive serve. Let's see if he goes to the lob Z to the forehand. No, straight down the line.
Oh, and a big skip.
Huge skip from Fernandez.
Nine serving 8. Now remember, tiebreakers first to 11.
Garcia wants a good serve. Tried to slide it down the right side. A good idea. Didn't execute. Fernandez missed the last one. Oh! Match point number 1. Garcia, 10 serving 8. Nerves all over court number 1. Garcia looks very cool though. Let's see if he can close this out. Drive serve. Set up. Good pickup. Oh, wow.
Oh.
You can see the Mexicans over on the right side. 1 match point saved.
8 serving 10.
Look at Garcia. Look at how that's smart. Slowing it down, getting himself ready. serving 10.
Wow.
Could we have an 11-10 tiebreaker?
Tensions keep rising.
Court serve. There'll be a lob to the backhand. It's a great serve. Garcia off the back wall. 10-10.
Oh, man.
Timeout, Bolivia, if I'm coaching.
Nope.
You've lost 2 points in a row. Stop the momentum. Sticks with the same serve.
Well, he goes right to that serve. He had been drive serving.
Oh, what a get. Oh, my goodness. Fernandez flat rolls it. What a turnaround in this second game. He was down 8-10, won 3 points in a row, advances to the final with an 11-10 tiebreaker win.
Outstanding. Love to see this level of competition.